I stayed in Italy for 7 days and went to Rome, Florence, Forte dei Marmi, and Pisa. I loved Rome the most. It has so much culture and historic buildings just on the streets. It's extremely beautiful. And the restaurants were so cheap and good. If you go to local restaurants where people look weird at you, what's this foreigner doing here? How did they find my local restaurant? It's noisy and you can hear only Italian families and reunions and their friendships and stuff. Then you know you got it right and you are in the most perfect and most delicious restaurant. The pizza is really good and quite different. The crust is thin and the toppings are very saucy, very runny kind of, but you get used to it very easily. So I try a lot of pasta, fish, and seafood. I really try to change it and switch it up. This was my first meal, only 10 euros a pizza, and it was very big. These are some of my favorite restaurants in Rome. I had the best goat cheese pasta, and the smell was so powerful. I loved it so much. My friend couldn't really eat it because of the smell, but I grew up on goat cheese, so I really liked it. This is a random dessert place in Rome. It was an extremely fancy restaurant. We were the only ones in the restaurant. They talked about everything in the food, what they're made of, how the chef prepares them. A very much Michelin star type of restaurant. Quite cheap if you think of all of the experience. It was 41 euros for 2 cappuccinos and 2 desserts for this kind of experience. And then we went to the church. A lot of churches, a lot of icons and religious stuff in the museums and everywhere. Compared to the UK, the church here is free and it's much prettier in my opinion. It is a true Catholic church. The UK ones are so commercial and encourage you to pay at every step. But here you could see priests around walking, they're doing their jobs and just people praying and acting normal in church, not all of this commercial stuff. And here is the orga playing for you. We went to Museum Capitolini. It was very pretty and it was very interesting seeing all of the history I've constantly learned from a very young age. Like 10 years old me could imagine all of this stuff in here, but it's amazing just seeing it and feeling it. And it kind of becomes reality, not just a story that you'd learn about the Roman Empire. And seeing the statue with the lupa, it meant a lot for me because we learned about this stuff for 12 years. And it's very nice actually seeing it in person. The Colosseum, it's big, but it's not as impressive as you'd think, because for every angle, it's exactly the same. The construction is a circle and it's meant to not take in, like you should focus on the center, not on the building. You can really see well the arena where people would fight. You can imagine all the stuff happening there, but with all the people, the noise, it's very hard to kind of mourn and kind of be sad. And the food there, we were in a hurry and we had to eat with a view of the Colosseum. The food was very bad. A pizza and a spritz was like 17 euros. Quite expensive, just westernized pizza. And here we are at the Vatican. Vatican is number 1. In my opinion, it's a huge museum. It's a country in itself. All the history, 16th chapel painted by Michelangelo. I liked it so much. It's very beautiful and so worth it. Please get a guide. He will explain so nicely and you won't just stare. Plus it's so big, so it's quite hard to take in everything. You just get bored, but with a guide he just explains and like shows you what the main parts are. You also skip the line that is like 2, 3, even 4 hours and you don't want to stay in that line. It's a waste of your time and waste of your rent in Rome. That's quite expensive. In Vatican there's also like Van Gogh and like the Thinking Man statue, very popular artists. Of course Michelangelo is everywhere and the guide really explains well like the meaning behind it and other artists and painters that worked with him and how everything went on.
And then he gave Christians freedom. Now guys, there is a strong on his knees. 2 and 3 represent the 3 steps of knowledge or Renaissance. In order to become a master Renaissance, you are supposed to know truth, good, and evil.
I think it's amazing. The church, the 16th chapel, it's quite hard to pay attention. It's very crowded inside. The building is very tall, big, just huge. It's hard to see the iconic ceiling and actually analyze it and kind of read the story. I think just looking at a picture is much better and just having your own time to think about it. It was very hard to focus inside the chapel, especially because it's the last attraction. So you already spend like 2-3 hours in the museum in Vatican and then you go to the church where it's very noisy, so it's hard to focus. And after this we were so tired. It was the end of the day and we went to a restaurant on the spot. It was the best restaurant I have had in the entire world, the most authentic and delicious, the best one. We ordered this risotto. I just don't like risotto that much, but I can appreciate it. It was made extremely well and we also had all of this fish. Just thinking about it I miss it so much. It was so delicious. And the bread, they always give you bread. All the bread is so good. And then we moved to Florence. All my friends traveled before to Italy said Florence is the most beautiful, but I don't really agree. Look at this building. The style looks like a cupboard cutout. I'm sorry, Florence. It's the style, but I don't like it at all. The city is more of a town, so there aren't a lot of restaurants or like attractions. So 2 days is more than enough. We had more time to look around for food and we had some pastries. We also went to the local market. It has a lot, but it still is very much made for buying presents and for tourists, and it's a bit expensive. We ended up getting these pastries, really delicious, we can't complain, like salami cake, cannoli. The biscuits with almonds are really hard and they seem kind of old, but they're just made to be eaten with drinks, like with wine, really good, with sparkling wine. And don't get the pistachio liquor, it's quite bad, we had to throw it away. The limoncello though, it's good, but I feel like it's too strong in a way. In Florence we also went to 2 wineries, that's the Tuscany area, so all the Chianti wine is made there. We learned a lot about its history and stuff like that. It was okay. We drank and I had this very good vinegar, sweet vinegar, very good. I bought a bottle with me. We also bought a sparkling wine that was made there and it was very good too. When we traveled again, we were like, no more sparkling wine. We had so much in Italy. After that, we went to a restaurant. Again, we just found it on Google. We went to like the best traditional family kind of restaurant and we had cow stomach in tomato sauce. I'm used to it. I've eaten cow stomach before. I think it was nice. But the best thing in Florence is the statue of David and the museums. They're all really impressive. I just wished I wasn't able to hear anyone else or like see the crowd around, so I could just really focus on statues and stuff like that. But after a while with everyone around, you just get tired and you want to go home. So for the first time it's nice seeing it, but for the second time maybe just focus on the pieces that are important. There were a lot of Christianity icons and paintings. It was quite interesting for me because I'm familiar with the Bible and everything, but my friend was really questioning everything. She didn't really get what all the paintings and like everything was related to, so I kind of like guided her. Oh, this is the event and this is in the Bible and whatever. But for me, I think it was very nice. It was like reading but a book with pictures. It's quite impressive. The statue especially, it's very big. I didn't expect it to be this big. It's very detailed and just amazing to look at it. It's so crowded around it. I just wish I could zoom out. And then we went to Forte dei Marmi, to the beach. It was quite cold and the water was 17 degrees, I believe. I still went in and then my friend followed me. We were the only crazy ones. We had a night walk and it was so magical. It felt very safe and it was very empty, so I liked it a lot. And this is our accommodation, very cute. We even had a washing machine and I used it. We were prepared with detergent and stuff because we didn't eat all day. We had this platter, amazing. The food was so good and so interesting on the platter. I don't even know what's it called. Like all the things on the platter are so random, but everything was so good. And we had like another night walk, and during the night walk we had some fun. We played in the playground. There was no one around.
You're so enjoying now.
I look so funny. I look so happy here, and my friend was telling me, oh my god, why are you so happy? It's kind of funny. We had some more food. The seafood and fish were really good, of course. I had to try the fish. I'm near the sea, Italian sea turtle fish, so I was like, hell yeah, I love it. It's a really good destination for family and just chilling. It's very safe and clean, and I really like it. And then we moved to Pisa for the last day in Italy. Pisa is kind of disappointing. You only have the tower and then church, and there are a lot of restaurants, but all restaurants are for tourists, and the food was really bad at this specific one, so don't go. The Pisa airport was so crowded because French people were on strike. In conclusion, I really loved Rome the best. I would absolutely go to Rome again. I would even live there for a month. I loved it so much. It's so beautiful and magnificent. This was my trip to Italy. I loved it so much. Cry every night because I really want to go back. Bye! See you in the next video.